Trey, what up, man?
What up, what up?
We're live, and where are we at, Trey? Live where?
Live in the basement.
Live in the basement. So, hey, it's kind of decent good, actually. Leave that on for a little bit. So, Trey, long week of basketball. Actually, we've been up and down the road a little bit. How many games have we had since the last podcast that we haven't even broadcasted yet?
Five, for sure.
5 games. I would say, overall, are you happy with the 5 games? I mean, let's just kind of take a big 30,000-foot view on it, and then what we'll do is we'll come back and just kind of look at the other games a little closer.
Yeah. We have been battle tested lately because of injuries. The injury bug kind of bit us a little bit. As every team's facing, or they will face. But it's just helped us out so much. I think that it's helped us grow. It actually made the process a little faster just because we've had to force kids to step onto the court and to do things.
Yeah. Actually, part of the podcast for whether it's good or bad, I mean, we're hoping that it's taken well, is that we're going to be honest about stuff. And I mean, there was a few kids that got thrown into positions that quite honestly they weren't ready for it, but they stepped up. I mean, they really did. They played a lot of significant minutes, and the competition level was better at the preseason nationals than I expected. I mean, it actually, they stepped up. There was a few teams there that gave us, a little bit of a challenge. And there was one in particular that again, we had two injured starters. And those 2 injured starters represented 35 points average so far. And so when you're trying to replace 35 points, there's no way you're going to do it with just one player.
It's got to be a committee.
Yeah. And so, I know that you emphasize defense from week 1. And I think that's why, right? Like you have to be strong defensively. So when your offense needs a little bit of time to either get baskets or whatever, if you can get your all your energy on defense, it helps a ton, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and not only that, we seen it in yesterday's game that it frustrates teams. That every time you look to attack, there's 2 or 3 bodies there waiting for you. So you never get anything easy against us. So it just complicates the game, and then once the girls actually get out and run, we're able to get some easy baskets, and now we feel a little bit better about ourselves. We have a little bit more energy, and it translates back over to the defensive end, and we're able to stay energized for all 32 minutes.
Yeah, and I look, we had some technical difficulties. As a matter of fact, I think we still have a mic issue, so we're trying to work through it. But so we're not going to have a ton of time to dive too deep into it. But let's hit the JV team at preseason nationals. Give me your assessment of that first, and then we'll go into varsity.
I'm really proud of them. Their first game was against a varsity team. I don't think they was really better than us, but they were really scrappy. They sped us up, and the girls are still trying to figure out how to handle pressure, and I think it prepared us well for the preseason nationals in West Virginia. I think that because we faced a team like that, it kind of slowed the game down for us. And, we had to play a really, really good game. We had to play really 4 good games. They even had to face some adversity where in the second half of a game, they only scored 2 points, but they figured out a way to win that game. But, as we just talked about, defense. Defense won them that game because it's not too many teams you're going to beat by only scoring 2 points and a half. So.
Well, that was the game that I didn't get to watch, so I know I was coaching on the other side, and you went with the JV girls.
I didn't get to see that game.
Okay, there was one game where I know we got a report that at halftime they had 30, and I looked at you and I said they're going to go for 60. So then when we looked at the end of the game and the score was 32 to whatever, and we won the game, I was thinking, whoa, we scored 2 points in the second half, and actually it was off 2 free throws.
Right.
So, but again, you gotta. Sometimes you win ugly, right? It's not always going to be, and that's why defense is so important, because it could be you're not making baskets, and that's just a game of basketball.
Yep.
I'll say that I'm passionate about JV basketball because, it's a big leap to go from middle school. And if I'm being honest, like in our area, and I don't mean this with any sense of disrespect, middle school basketball is not good. And so a lot of kids don't even get coached really in middle school. Even when they have a good coach, then they don't have competition to really test that good coaching. So basketball in middle school is rough. And so then when you come out of that, and then you're being asked to go straight into varsity, we just lose a lot of kids. They just quit. And there's a bunch of kids on our JV team that are going to be really good. but right now they're not at the level for our varsity team. So then the only other option is they sit as number 14 on the bench on varsity, never play, or you offer them the JV option. And so, I'm passionate. We have to have a JV team every year.
Yep.
Every year. So and then they went to East Coast Nationals, and I guess they won the championship.
Yeah.
And I think they played, 4 solid games?
4 solid games, yeah.
There
Besides
you
that
go.
second half.
There you go.
Really good games.
And I would say they're not being. Everybody had to contribute in some way. It wasn't like we just have one really good player. We have good players, but we don't have one player that's scoring 65 points a game, and that's why we win. We have to do it as a team, which is great.
Yeah.
So they came down the mountain, champions, which is exciting. And then obviously let's talk about our varsity team at preseason nationals. What did you think about their performance overall? I know you mentioned the 2 injuries, but just overall.
I thought it was good, especially the third game because one of our big starters got hurt in the second game of the preseason nationals, and so that was our first test without 2 starters, and we had a gut one out, but that says a lot about the team that the girls stayed ready. The kids that were on the bench, they had to stay ready. And, we was able to squeak one out. But once again, that's a testament to the team and, believing in everything that we've been preaching so far. Because, once again, with losing 35 points per game with 2 players, it's gonna force the other kids to step up. And really want to give a shout out to Issa. Issa's been on a tear lately. So really proud of her. That's one thing I'm really proud about Issa is, she'll always step up in the big games. You never have to worry about where she's at. She's going to make sure her presence is felt.
Yeah, I mean, and I was actually going to get specific about players because, I give you an example. She brings a certain calmness to the court that it's not slow, but it's just calm.
Yep.
And I guess it's because she's played in bigger games quite a bit. So she doesn't really get frazzled. Now, again, she's not going to be perfect. No player is. But she does bring that kind of element of calmness. And I got to be honest, Logan has come in and been, really solid defensively. And, if you pick up a stat sheet or whatever, maybe you don't recognize the contribution, but she's been really, really solid. She's one of those people that told me the other day, she's like, I don't have to score points to feel good about how we're playing. She just wants to win. I would say most of our players are like that, all the way through the roster. And that's what makes a good team. And so I think Logan's contribution was immeasurable. But then you have things that happen within that tournament that you're just, I remember we've been teaching these kids how to make 0.5 reads and be quick about what they do. And we have Ashley in the corner. She grabs a pass. She drives to where she's supposed to drive. She's still reading the court. Makes a quick skip pass to Jessica in the corner, and she knocks down a 3. Honestly, probably one of the prettiest plays we've had all year.
Yep. And
it was from 2 people that are just starting to learn. So, and they may not get the court time. And sometimes the court time is not a reflection of, hey, we don't, it's not about them directly, but we haven't had enough time with them to show them what we need to do and at a high level at certain games. But that play right there sort of showed that they're all learning.
Yep.
And that honestly, as a coach, Issa having, a ton of points and stuff like that, and Logan and Courtney and of course Layla and Miriam, all the girls. I can go through the whole roster, Jordan, whoever. Having success is awesome, but when you see kids putting it together, it's so exciting for me because that's kind of why we do it. So anyway, we came down champions of that too, and we kind of have to speed up a little bit because we do have to go. We're going to have a separate podcast on the game from last night for Southway because I think there's a lot to talk about there. That was a really good game against a really good team and against a program that really has set the tone for homeschool basketball. But as far as to wrap up the preseason nationals, we did win that tournament. The semifinal was a battle. And I think because those kids that had that court time coming to the finals, we played lights out in the finals. I think, I think Issa ended up with, doing a lot and contributing in a lot of many different ways, but everybody did at the same time as well. So, but we did play South Wake last night. So, spoiler alert, we did get a win. But I know for a lot of people that's like a big deal. For us, we expect to win every time we step on the court. So once the game was over, I mean, it was fine. But for us, we're moving on. We're already talking about the next game. We got a showcase coming up on the 30th of November. We got a couple of new opponents added to the schedule, like Forsyth Country Day, Wesleyan, and we're gonna have some tough opponents. And so, we respect South Wake. We think they're great. They got great players, great people. Love their coaching staff. Just really, like I said, they've set the mark for us, and I love it because we get something to aim for. But the truth of the matter is that we want to break that glass ceiling, for homeschool sports in general, like we're there.
Yeah, it's just another game.
Just another game, and we'll see them again. Yeah. We're cordially invited to come to their senior night. We'll kind of see how that goes.
Ready to upset some seniors on their senior night.
Hey, it is what it is, man. Hey, we got to take off because we got to go. They're hollering at us. We're going to the movies. So we're gonna go chillax at the movies, and I guess we'll see you. We'll record our podcast on South Wake, like more specifically, like later this week.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Keep pounding, bro. Keep pounding, boy.
Keep pounding.